How you doing, mate?
Good, yeah, you okay?
What's it like being on with Captain Wales in South Africa?
Exciting. I think I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit of nerves as well, because I think for me, I think it's good to be nervous. It's good when you're a little bit nervous. We know the challenge that lies await on Saturday. It's probably up there with the biggest challenges in World Rugby. The world champions, the #1 ranked team in their own backyard at altitude in front of 50,000 sort of Springboks supporters. So it's about as tough as it gets, but I think what the squad have done, and off the back of a disappointing end of the Six Nations, is we've sort of really come together and just said that this is almost like a fresh start now in terms of clean slate, wipe everything behind and just go out there with a bit of freedom and really express ourselves. And because if we listen to everything that's being reported, if we listen to everything in the media, to fans, to the pundits, to everyone, we may as well not turn up, we may as well have 3 weeks on holiday here. So from our point of view, we're really sort of, it'll show a lot of character about us on Saturday, and I'm hoping that can shine through.
It's been a while since Wales have been here as well, hasn't it? It's been about 8 years.
Yeah, 2014, where we very nearly got the job done in the second test. Just couldn't get it over the line, but it's been great. It's been brilliant to come back here. In fairness, the country, the hospitality we received. Obviously, a few of us were here last year when it was very different in terms of stuck in a hotel for basically sort of 23 hours of the day, really, in terms of an hour out for training, and it was really tough work. But it's been great to be able to sort of go over to the casino, go out and about. A few of us went across to the Lion and the Safari Park yesterday, and a bit of golf on Sunday. So it's just been great to be back touring as well. And like I said, there's not many better countries to tour than here. So we're lucky in that, and we're just trying to enjoy ourselves as much as possible, not to put too much pressure on ourselves, and hopefully that'll help us on a Saturday afternoon.
And the players will be remembering Phil Bennett on the weekend, back down bounds. Just how important is that? All Wales player and captain.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's I think we've spoken. Not many more words you can say about Phil. I think it's up to us to put in a performance to honour Phil as well. All the words have been spoken about Phil are true great, and again, pass the condolences on from the squad to his family. But we're hoping that with that performance we can put a bit of pride back for him as well.
Yeah, Dan, you mentioned the nerves there. You don't know what's coming. Is it a case of getting, particularly the younger players in the squad, excited about the prospect of potentially beating South Africa instead of worrying too much about it?
Yeah, I think nerves is only good. It's certainly not. There's no fear involved. There's absolutely no fear. But I think it's good to be nervous, because if you're not nervous, you take things a little bit lax, and you don't quite get it right, or you're not quite mentally prepared. And on Saturday, if you're not quite mentally prepared on Saturday, it's about as bad a place as you could be. So, and sometimes as well, I found this over the course of the careers, when you've got young guys coming in who perhaps haven't played here before, or experienced what it's like to play against this side, you have nothing to compare it to, and you have no fear in it, because you haven't faced it, you don't know what it's about, and I think that's a really good thing for us as a squad. There's a lot of boys who haven't experienced it, and are just chomping at the bit to go out and get stuck into what is a world-class, 15 on 23, which the Springboks have made. So from that point of view, I think it's a good mix of experience in the squad, of being there, experienced this country and this team, playing against this team before, and a mix of boys who sort of haven't faced it and have almost got no fear in that, because they just want to get stuck in and build a reputation for themselves and just get stuck into a pretty good side.
Yeah, George is back for the first time in a Welsh shirt for quite a while. How nice to have him there just to dump it off to if it gets.
Yeah, I think as well, sometimes, it doesn't always mean, but sometimes when you see a team sheet as well, and you see sort of, names like George is on it as well, that makes a huge difference to a bit of psyche as well. So we're really pleased to have him back. He was going nicely in that 13 shirt before he had a nasty injury. So really good for us to be able to sort of match a little bit of power as well with someone like him coming in, which will give us a bit of a different dimension, and like you said, a bit of a carrying option in midfield as well. And along with Nick Tompkins, who I think has been absolutely brilliant for Saracens this year in fairness, so it'll be really good to see how the two of them combine together.
Yeah, with the exception of Tompkins, I think it's the same back line that started that win against England last year, which would have been one of the highlights of Pivac's career. He just said now that Kieran Hardy was rewarded for that performance. You've had to play with all three scrum halves. How does Kieran compare?
Yeah, well, I think what Kieran brings is a real, I suppose, scrum half skill set. His passing and kicking are absolutely superb, on the money, you know, and I think when you come to a place like this, your kicking game and your basics have to be really good. If your basics aren't on top of it, then you're in a bit of trouble. So I think what Kieran would be sort of encouraged to do is just make sure he does the basics well, controls that, I suppose, the forwards in front of him, and just is accurate. I think that's the big thing in a place, because you look at what the opposition are bringing, and it's almost you have more respect for them because you kind of know exactly what's coming, but stopping it is very, very difficult because they're so accurate, so powerful, so sort of together. So I think from our point of view, it's about making sure that we don't give anything easy to them early doors. So I think from Kieran's point of view, it'll be about making sure that his skill set is just nice and accurate and not trying to overplay too much.
And regardless of Six Nations results, you know, the size of the task ahead is measured by the fact that no Wales team has ever won here. How much extra motivation does that give a test match warrior like yourself, knowing that if you did win, what you would have achieved in Wiltshire?
Yeah, I think Wayne's spoken about it in terms of, you know, it's about making history and creating history, I suppose, isn't it, in terms of being the first team to win out here. And I think it's just about, it's making sure that we start really well, because, you know, I've been involved, we played here in 2014, our first test in Durban. We were out of the game inside 25 minutes. We got absolutely blown away, and it was very difficult to chase. They're a very difficult team to play against at the best of times, let alone when you've got to chase a game. So I think for us it's about starting well, not getting too focused on the end result, because I think you have to take this game a 10-minute spell at a time, or a face-to-face mentality. So, you know, I think we're all aware of what lies in wait if we can pull off one of the best, probably best Welsh victories in certainly in the modern era. So, but I think the process for us is very much thinking about Saturday and getting it right and starting really well, as opposed to perhaps that in that sense really. But we're well aware of what stands if we can produce a really good performance. Yeah.
And do you think, I think 20 plus members of the squad have had experience of playing out here this season. You're not one of them, but, you know, despite the results, how much will they have taken from those matches? Did they talk about the match?
Not really, again, not really, because I think, you know, we're aware that probably the results that regions have had haven't been what we would have wanted from their point of view, especially when you come here. It's difficult, altitude is difficult. We trained Sunday and Monday, which was pretty tough in terms of getting used to that altitude. So, you know, we're aware that there's probably we're not reading too much into that. We're looking together. We're coming together now as a new group. Some boys who, you know, it's a new group, and a lot of boys are quite match fit as well. In terms of, you know, probably why Tommy's come into the squad as well as having an exceptional year. He's match fit and ready to go. Nick the same. So we've got boys who've been there a bit more match fit and some really good preparation weeks as well. So yeah, I don't think we're looking too much into that, and I think, you know, it's just about making sure we start the game. I think that's a huge point for us, because like I said, in 2014 we were blown away by 25 minutes, and it was a pretty miserable last 60 then.
Good luck, thanks.
Thank you.
And then last time you were here in South Africa with the Lions, you tried to match the box physically, which you were to at times, but do you feel like you could have attacked them more? And is that something you're trying to translate with this group?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. I've been asked this quite a lot, and when we won the first test, it was everyone sort of said it was a brilliant sort of master stroke, and we managed to outmuscle the box and beat the box in our own game. And then you lose the next two, and it was, you know, the knives are out, aren't they, in terms of for everyone. So it's a very fine margin, and I suppose what South Africa want you to do as a team is overplay when perhaps it's not on. But I think you make a valid point that I think we mentioned actually in the huddle after training. We said that we want to be disciplined. We want to make sure that we we don't give South Africa anything easy, but we also have to, when it's on and when we get an opportunity and the picture presents itself, we have to be brave, we have to be bold and make good decisions to shift the ball and move the ball to space.
And is that something that you're translating to the...
Yeah, I think it's a balance. It's very much a balance. We don't want to be we don't want to be caught in game sevens or throwing the ball out and inviting a little pressure on ourselves. But I think we're understanding where we can get some gains. So I think we're looking to try and move the point of contact, play in the right areas, and as soon as we get into some good areas or if the picture presents itself, we're looking to shift the ball and play to space. So I think from our point of view, it's about having just a balance, I suppose, is key, because you don't want to be just moving the ball around quickly or sort of inviting yourself in and do a bit of pressure. So a balance is key, and if it's on to move the ball, like I said, we have to make sure we take our chances and shift it, because like you said, going in and arm wrestle against these guys is quite difficult.
In terms of your position, battle of the 10, the Springboks are without their first choice, and number 10, Henry Pollard.
Yep.
Are you rubbing hands at the prospect of going up against Alton Yankees, who is a bit of a more attacking variation of fly off?
Yeah, I've played against Alton a few times actually, and his skill set is, you know, he's got all the tricks, isn't he, in terms of his kicking game and his passing game. So we're fully aware of what he brings, and we're aware that obviously what Andre brings is a real control, a real sort of territory-based game, and makes very few mistakes, doesn't he? So I think in terms of Elton, he's got pretty decent 8 guys in front of him in terms of in that pack. So it's about making sure if we can create some problems for the front pack, for the pack, sorry, we can make his life a lot more difficult. Same for Faf de Klerk. So, but if we don't get out on the upper hand there, or we don't sort of stem the flow there, as you have to against any South African team you play, then most 9 and 10s are going to have a pretty good afternoon.
Okay, we've got time for one more question here, so
Dan, I know a lot of you are saying that you know what's coming. You know what's coming on the field, but has Ellenman and maybe Stephen Jones given you an insight into what's actually coming with the Colderness Loftus, 52,000 people, and obviously the build-up to the test?
Yeah, they've said it's one of the best places that they play rugby in fairness, in terms of a hostile crowd, sort of really sort of in your face, getting stuck in and supporting the Springboks. So, but I think that's brilliant. Really. Steve mentioned it actually Monday, and just said that I think they were just so relieved that the game was sold out, because those are the atmospheres of the last couple of years we've missed. We played there 12 months ago in one of the warm-up games, and for such a historic stadium, it was just soulless without the crowd. So I think that'll get the best out of us on Saturday. I really do believe that. I think as difficult and intimidating as it is, it's also a real challenge for us as well. And I think with that in mind, and like I said, like I've mentioned before, when we've had tough defeats as a country or as a team, we've always responded quite well as well. So it's, you know, we need to respond pretty well on Saturday to get anything out of it, and it'll be important for us to do that.